So we were assigned the duty today
That's correct.
to talk about the 7 leadership mistakes that we all make that appear. And whether it's in the safety world or the leadership world, we have 7 mistakes that we tend to make. And I was assigned that duty because I must be that mistake guy.
Yeah, Reed is the what would you call him? The leader on this project.
Yeah.
And we both got put in secondary leadership
Is that what it is?
position.
I thought because I was so good at making mistakes in leadership, he thought he'd just talk about
This is the one he gave you?
I normally do.
Yeah, I mean that might be it. But I think we got a good list of things to go over. But I just need you to let me know when you want me to share the PowerPoint.
Probably let's just get rolling.
Get rolling now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what this is, of course, is our leadership academy that's starting off, I believe, the 16th of September or thereabout. Full 8-week course where it's sponsored by NSB. And all we're doing with these lunch and learns is giving everybody a hors d'oeuvre per se of what's to come in the leadership training. We aren't diving deep into it. It'll take 45 minutes to an hour, and we're going to hit today some of the don'ts of leadership and how to fix them or correct them. Again, we've partnered with Vermont Works for Women, and NSB is underwriting this. Each class we're going to run, it'll run for about 24 months, but each class session or graduating class will run 8 weeks, and we're anticipating running 4 or 5 different groups through it. We will basically, the class will be in person here every Wednesday morning from 8 till noon. We'll give them free lunch. We're
Yeah.
going to have a bag lunch for them to go home with. 1 session per week, and going to discuss or dive into both the hard and soft skills of leadership. And then there'll be some group discussions and breakouts and stuff like that. But we're also bringing in some people from the field, experts, we'll say.
Yeah, the goal is to not have it be your normal, sit down, get lectured kind of course. So, yeah, we'll have input from real people. There'll be group discussions, group projects, whatever you want to call it. I don't think there'll be homework, but maybe Reed will tell me there will be. But yeah, the goal is to, this is not a sit down and get lectured course.
So today we're going to focus on the 7 leadership mistakes. And after 25, 30 years here, working with and around contractors across Vermont, one thing that becomes very clear out there is that those job sites that are safest or those job sites with the best leaders are rarely the ones with the biggest rule book. Here's a book of rules, follow it, and run.
Good luck.
Okay. Generally, it's the one with a strong leader, and the one with the CEO or a manager or whatnot that trusts those leaders underneath them to do the right thing. And it requires avoiding those common leadership traps.
Which I think you, and I'll tell you did a good job, which I think the 7 that you picked today, I feel like we see a lot, and they're really good ones to focus on of what you would say, what not to do. So yeah.
Well, I was just thinking about what I should not.
But I mean, you're making a joke out of it, but you have a lot of experience in terms of being a leader. So
Yeah.
you know what works and what doesn't work better than most people. And you're humble enough to admit that you do some of them or have done some of them and whatnot. I think that's a big part of this is understanding we may be doing one of these 7 things and not even know it, or we know it and we just haven't been able to change yet.
So the number one thing I think fails, the reason leadership fails, and the reason, if we want to say safety, because I'm more of a safety background guy, but the number one thing I feel fails when it comes to leadership is forcing people into leadership.
I think that
Right.
happens a lot with our
I'm gonna,
workforce.
you are a leader today.
Right.
Here you go. Good luck to you.
Right.
Catch you at the end.
And when you look at construction, you see that a lot with the workforce and just, hey, this summer you're going to be taking over the Barry job.
I would be better to ask for volunteers. Who wants to lead this project?
You might not get anyone.
Huh?
Yeah, you might not
Everybody run the other
yeah,
way.
Yeah.
But who wants to lead this project? And maybe before I start there, I say, here's what it's going to require. Here's what this entails, and here's how we do it. Also, within that context, is you as a new burgeoning leader, I might assign a safety leader or a champion. How many times, and I'd love to ask you, you can chat, but how many times have you turned around and said, okay, Ben's going to be a leader? And you know he's going to fail. Damn, he's going to fail. But to help him succeed, we turn around and assign somebody to work with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
We did it with you here.
Mm-hmm.
What did we do? Who was your super? Who was your mentor along the way?
Well, really, I had 3.
Really?
I had you.
But I'm not a good one. So
Right.
throw me
That's
away.
what you said, though. So
Yeah.
I have you, I had Tim, and I had Reed. And I worked with you, Tim, and Reed for the last 3 years. So I've been able to have 3 different approaches to this position, which I think is the absolute best way to do it. Because you get to see 3 different people's methods and then take the parts and pieces that you like and build your own method.
And last year, I mean, you took the lead on say the golf tournament,
Yeah.
or on annual meeting. And last year, we didn't give you the whole thing.
Well,
We
no.
gave you these 2 or 3 parts of annual meeting and said, here, go.
Right.
And you got to win at that lower
Oh,
level.
the signs. That was the first thing.
So you develop that confidence to be able to expand and move into other things, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's what we got to do. We got to give people simple wins first,
Right.
so they expand that confidence. We got to explain the role, what we expect, what's the pathway, and ask for volunteers. I don't just say you're the leader. Who wants to be the leader?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I find that is somewhat difficult at times, because during that time, you got to take, as someone, I have to take a hands-off approach. I got to let you experiment, figure it out, and go with it. Within that piece, I think it's important, and I wrote some little wobbyisms.
Right.
My wobbyisms.
I see it.
Okay?
I see it.
And I wrote some wobbyisms. I don't think you don't throw someone the clipboard and call it leadership. You got to explain why. You got to give them the backing, and you got to create a fighting chance.
Those of you who are out there right now, if you want to just like, how many of you were just given your leadership position with very little explanation or direction of what or how or when? You can just write, or you can throw a thumbs up or something. I just think, especially in this industry, you see a lot of that, of just you're handed this big thing and maybe aren't given the best set of plans. Look at that.
Yeah, you worked that right in.
I did.
Then I think the number 2 thing is, and I think we all fail at this, because we don't necessarily explain what the expectations are or what leadership is.
Right.
I don't think we do it. And if they don't know what leadership looks like, then they'll fill in the blanks themselves. And I don't always want you to fill in those blanks.
We talked about this last week with Reed on last week's episode. But how am I supposed to do something the way you'd like it if I have no idea the way you'd like it done? It's impossible.
I got a good one.
I got to guess. Maybe now that we've been working 3 years together, which I talked about this last week, maybe now that we've been working together for 3 years, I have an idea of how Richard wants it done. But if we're talking, take when you hired me the first year, I had no clue. So I had to ask a bunch of questions. And luckily you answered them and weren't rude about it.
I got a good one.
Yeah.
That I love.
Okay.
This is like one of my favorite lines.
Yep.
Be safe out there. Huh?
Yeah.
How often you hear that?
All the time.
Be safe out there. What is that?
Right.
And how do we define what it is actually out there? Okay. Is it a crane pick? Is it traffic control? Is it moving a piece of equipment, working at height? What is safe? And I think every one of those, and you started to walk down that thing, but every piece of the leadership thing is just like that, right? Because every piece is a little different. I don't want you to fill in the blanks and try to figure it out. I want to set you up to win at this game.
Yes.
To do so, I think we got to set clear expectations. We got to define that pathway in front of us as to where I want you to end up, how I want you to end there. I think we somewhat fail in the development stage with foremen. I think foremen, we've got to be more apt to tell them what we expect versus just finish the job.
Right.
And I think that's an important piece of this when we start to look at how we advance people up through and whether people win or fail along the way. It's telling them expectations and what to do. The other piece is recognizing leadership itself. Some people may not be a foreman, may not be a super, but all of a sudden we see someone stepping up out there. And as we see him stepping up, we've got to start to work towards his or her strengths and bring them up through the ranks, right?
Yeah.
And then they see the pathway, and you have the pathway, and it works together along the way. I jumped into when I was putting this together. My problem is I keep looking at this whole leadership thing as a safety driven element, and it's not just safety driven, it's job driven, it's task driven, it's this whole thing. But if we're going to build a new leader or we're going to build a new safety leader, then we should try to build it into the pre-task plans. You should be involved or someone should be involved pre-task to define what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So one more time, you understand the expectations along the way. You also are able to anticipate those hurdles that we might come up on. We're setting up a traffic control plan up in the middle of a road, and nobody told us there's an intersection 50 feet down the road.
Right.
How do I fix that? And as a leader, should I have known or seen earlier that I was going to need extra signs and I was going to need another flagger or something? Right?
Yeah, and maybe I told you that a couple times, but the communication wasn't there. So there's a lot of chances to kind of identify that and work on it along the way.
Yeah.
But that takes great communication.
Does it?
It does.
Comms?
Yep. I mean, we talk about how every year, I feel like I'm going to say communication so many times, but that's what all of this really is leveraged on.
I think it's planning. I think it's comms. I think it's it's risk taking, it's this whole piece, and being able to develop that mentality. And through, I'll say, the program we got coming, we will hit into these pieces and make them work for you.
Yeah.
As I was going through, don't leave leadership expectations undefined. One more time, I came up with a Wobbyism.
Wobbyism, nice.
Yeah. I've got Wobbyisms for every one
Yeah,
of these
like-
things. I just want you to know. Be safe is not a plan. It's a bumper sticker. Tell people what matters before the wheels come off the project.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it, we've hit on it, but in terms of just looking, how are you supposed to set someone up with success or for success if you don't properly explain to them what their expectations are? You know?
Yeah. So you're at it?
Huh?
Thought you were a leader, man.
I am a leader, but there's only so long you can talk about that.
Huh?
And I think we summed it up pretty well.
I got, don't lead through guilt. So often, I see people that are just guilted into being that leader.
Right.
Guilted into being the front person on this. And I think that telling people they should care more about leadership or advancement or safety because you think it's the right thing to do doesn't really change, doesn't really work. Most construction professionals want everyone to do what they're supposed to do, to go home safely. I mean, we say all the big words. So the better approach would be trying to connect your leadership to what matters most out there on the job site, what matters most with you. You were just talking a few minutes ago. You got like 10 friggin' things on your head.
I do. Too many.
Yeah. A dog,
Yeah.
your girlfriend,
Yep.
your wife.
No.
Huh?
No.
Are they one and the same?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Mom and dad,
Yep, my brother,
your brother.
the weather.
I mean, you were going through all that, but those are the things that motivate you to be better.
Correct.
It's not necessarily internally, it's understanding what you have in front of you, what you're looking at, what you hope to do or be, and bringing all those together. I don't think you can lead by guilt. And I don't care if it's a near miss or what it is, you can really ask and look at what has changed in the whole piece, right? And how has it changed? And how come I got you to lead great on this last job and I'm having a problem here today? How come somebody fell off a ladder over here, but they were on a ladder yesterday and we never had a problem, right? So how's that work? I also think, and I think I hate to bring it up. I also think there's um, within it, there's a speech part that makes people defensive.
Well, you do see that in a lot of not a lot, I'd say some. You see it in some of the safety days where a guest speaker will come in to talk about, let's say, rigging, or let's say CDL over the roads or over the road truckers or whatever. And immediately the attitude in the room is, well, why is this guy talking? We don't have a problem with that. Like, did the owners bring him in because they think we're bad at doing this? Like that attitude is sometimes seen, and a lot of the time, it's not was not and is not the purpose or goal of that speaker is to build on what we already have.
You failed today, by the way.
I did.
You failed the test.
Oh, what's that?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did a test today. Ben had left a screwdriver out on a counter, and I walked out and said, "Is that screwdriver still on the counter? What's going on with that screwdriver? Are we still using the screwdriver?" And Ben went, picked it up, and he was defensive and closed down for the next hour. You failed.
Hmm.
Or did I fail by bringing it up that way?
I think it maybe was both.
Really?
Yeah. I think if someone has a reaction to something that's negative, it may have been maybe not just their reaction, but maybe the way it was presented.
So I think you gotta connect safety to pride and to everything else around it. And correct behavior firmly, but we gotta have respect
Yes.
for each other. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I got another wabi or something.
I'm ready for the lobbyists.
Huh?
I'm
Are
ready
you?
for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is about safety. This is my thoughts on safety, right?
Yeah.
If your safety message sounds like a scolding from the principal's office, remember the other day
Right.
we're walking down the hall and I said, "Do you feel like you're going to the principal's office?"
Which my response was no, because I've never been. Because I don't get in trouble.
My response was, "I'm pretty good at this because I've been a lot of times."
Yeah, yeah. I would never got to go.
But you, it shouldn't feel when you're going to talk to somebody like we're heading to the principal's office or they will be heading to the principal's office. We've got to be, we can't shock them, and we've got to be a little better about that whole piece and the tone of our voice and how we're doing it.
And that sometimes, you know, when I don't want to connect everything back to safety, but that's how I see most of this, because that's what we do. But when you see like a toolbox talk or you see anything like that, you can see the ones that work well and the ones that don't work well. And I think this sums it up pretty perfectly. If I feel like I'm being scolded, I'm not going to listen to you because I'm 25, I'm 32, I'm 45. I don't need to take this from you, blah, blah, blah. But I think if the leader, whoever is in charge of that talk, you take everything needs is planning. So if I say, shoot, we've got a problem, I should probably talk about it. Maybe it's not me going and immediately rounding everybody up to preach to them, but it's me saying, before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to put together a plan. I'm going to bring it up tomorrow. That way, it gives me maybe time to cool down if I'm really frustrated, or it gives me time to think about it before I go and do, because there's probably a better way to do it than acting on impulse or something else.
Well, you mentioned safety talk.
Yeah.
And I did run into safety talks and comms and whatnot when I was looking at my 7.
Right.
Okay. I did get into safety talks. And one of the things I get into safety talks is I don't think we should turn leaders into script readers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And a good safety talk, a good communication piece isn't something just read from a piece of paper.
Right.
I think foremen and supervisors need to understand the why behind the expectations and then be able to share their own experiences. And I was on a job site the other day. I just thought it was funny as hell. And I think I threw it in here someplace, but I was on a job site the other day. The toolbox talk or safety talk they were doing was the red label on the side of a ladder.
Sure.
I'll probably come back to that.
Okay.
But that's not a safety talk. That's just reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we use the toolbox talk as a guide. That's what we do. It's just there. And then you got to shoot from the hip with your own experience or the actual hazard that you're trying to point out. And you got to be able to point that in and bring that in. And then ask where the risk is or ask what we can do better and how we can control it. The other piece is you keep it short. You got to keep it short and connected to today, not drifting off over the last 5 years of the 8 different things that have happened.
Right. And that takes knowing the audience too.
Yeah.
So if you don't know the audience, it's pretty hard to connect them. So as when we look out in the groups that we work with, we should be able to nail this, considering we tend to work with the same people for a good amount of time. But also that means if you pick someone up that's new, that involves being nice to them and understanding, what drives them, what their hobbies are, what that sort of thing. So when we do have to talk to them or anything like that, you're able to connect and make it seem less of a principal's office situation.
You're gonna remember that one, aren't you?
Yeah, no, it's a good,
Huh?
no, it's a good use.
So don't turn leaders into script readers. And nobody ever changed a culture by reading paragraph 3, subsection B in a monotone voice before coffee kicking.
Yeah.
Try that. That's kind of
That's
good.
like half our safety days.
I want you all to remember
Right.
that nobody ever changed a culture by reading paragraph 3, subsection B. Oh my gosh.
I didn't read that word.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a monotone voice before coffee kicking. I mean, you gotta be part of this. You gotta have some emotion. You gotta have some of your own stories. You gotta have some of your own stuff to share.
I mean,
And I think that that is part of leadership, opening that door so that so they know that you know what you're talking about and how you're talking about it.
and like it or not, it's unfortunate, but when you are that leader, or when there is a leader, they are very much in control of the morale with whatever group they're in charge of. You know what I mean? If Richard, you know, I'll call him my boss. I don't really know if he is, but if he's my boss, a lot of the time I'm reading his body language, the way he's speaking, whatever, to see, how are things going. So if he's monotone all the time and all that and blah blah blah, I'm probably not gonna have much trust in him.
You didn't pick up that monotone thing from me, did you?
No,
Huh?
no, you're not monotone at all, which is
Right.
nice. But yeah, there's a lot of people watching you. So the way you interact and hold yourself at work or wherever you are is affecting the morale of the rest of the group. Well,
Yeah.
yep.
I was waiting.
For magic to appear?
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured if I waited long enough, your leadership skills would just appear by magic right there in front.
I think we've waited long enough. I think that's the reason there's so much push for this course to begin with.
Yeah.
It's because we've waited for leadership skills to appear, and a lot of groups, companies, whatever, are struggling with that piece. We have people in the workforce who are in leadership positions who have not been given the training or have not been given the help or skills they need to be the best leader they can be. And so I would say this is pretty correct, which is the whole point of this course, is to take the magic right out of it and then just show them and allow them to see, what could help.
So here's a good one.
Yeah, ready.
The best operator on the crew.
Yeah.
Okay. Is promoted to foreman.
That happens.
Super.
Yeah.
How often does that happen? And we do it on Monday, and they're expected to handle that week. They have to handle conflict, production pressure, new worker coaching, safety docs, customer questions. And by Tuesday, they're going, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
And all we did was really just toss them the keys and hope they knew how to drive that truck. Right? They
Right.
were good at this, very good at iron,
Yes.
but we didn't give them the foundation they needed to build that other side of their life.
People skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that. Just because Richard's the best pipe player we have, so he's probably gonna be the best person to lead the group on how to do it. But maybe you have no interest in that. You also have no people skills, and you've never had a leadership position before.
The other thing I find is operators have a tough time being leaders anyway.
Right.
Because they sit here, like this, inside this.
Yeah.
And they do this. So they don't see the whole site. They see their part of the site.
I'm pretty disconnected from you too, unless I'm, we're doing a one-on-one work. Which doesn't last very long.
Right.
Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
So I think it's important we train new foremen on that piece, that communication piece. You bring it up, Reed brings, everybody talks about how can we fix this communication piece? How can we make it better and have everybody understand what they're doing? I don't think there's any magic bullet. I don't think it's there. I think what it is we have to learn to understand ourselves in order to understand other people.
But when you look at the construction industry, that's a lot harder because everything in our world is fast paced. I need it now. I need it done yesterday. So when you bring up the idea of, oh gosh, now I have to train someone, it's going to take maybe a year or two. That's just life. Yeah.
And I don't know if it takes a year or two. I think opening doors, and I think that's part of what Reed was thinking, Northfield Savings Bank was thinking, this whole group was thinking, was that if we could knock off 8 weeks, 4 hours every week,
Right.
4 hours every Wednesday, if we could do that, then we could give them that skill,
I would say a very,
that piece,
I think you were right. I think you've nailed that.
right?
Yes.
Because that's what you're going to walk away with. There'll be other pieces, but the whole big piece of that is that, and it's not removing somebody from a job site for an extended period of time. It's 4 hours. I also think one of the important pieces is letting future leaders shadow someone. And I don't mean to come back to you on this, but probably the best thing we did with you moving forward
Mhm.
was letting you spend time. I mean, nothing bugged me more than watch you sit in the back of the classroom.
Right. I
Nothing
mean,
bugged me more.
You think-
This was Ben's
think-
favorite seat.
you think I wanted to go through 25 OSHA 10s in 1 year? I don't think a lot of people understand that. When the first year I was hired, I sat through every single class you did in a training season, which I probably got my flagger certification 15 times. But I
You
mean,
also earned your OSHA 10,
yeah.
like 150
Yeah.
hours.
But if you look at what that allowed, I mean, I can't think of any better way to learn something than to watch it, like repetition. Everyone talks about that. You
So
watch it.
shadowing is very important.
Yes, 100%.
And the other piece, and it's funny because we were talking about this today, and both of us, and that I think that is funny, by the way, both of us sat down in our own little world and created the PowerPoint. We both had what I considered the 7 leadership mistakes,
Mhm.
but we went in our own little direction and then had to come back together to put it together.
And I think there is definitely a certain, at least with presenters, there seems to be some sort of stigma about having notes, and you're expected to memorize everything and
Yeah.
know how to deal with everything. But even I think from one thing I learned from you is that it's definitely okay to have notes.
They know we're cheating, by the way. My
Yeah.
notes are right here. They know we're cheating.
But when you have a brain like mine, which moves, and definitely yours, which moves at, a million miles a minute, if I don't have something, at least bullet marks, and down in front of me, I will completely forget all the things that I wanted to talk about for this hour-long thing, which we're closing in on 20 minutes of, and we still have more to go.
So then debrief, and I think everybody skips that
Mm-hmm.
because I think when it's all over, whether it was good or bad, whether it was at the end of the week,
Nobody wants to talk
if
about
we
it.
take 5 minutes
Right.
and just say, okay, how'd that work? Here's how it worked for me. How did it work for you? And I think that's a huge part.
Which, if you look at, and I know I mentioned safety days a million times, but one of the coolest things that Reed did this year, which if you're in this chat, maybe you were able to experience this, but when Reed would take everyone in to the Montpelier room, shut the door, and they debriefed the entire last season. And they sat there old fashioned style with a notepad and wrote down everything that
What's
worked.
old fashioned about a notepad?
Nobody uses a notepad anymore. They use this.
Are you shitting me?
I'm like, you're using it. Let me finish or I'm going to forget. They had, and multiple companies did it, but they did an entire debrief in a tiny little classroom with everybody there. And we went over, and they went over what worked, what didn't work, and what can we change for next season? And I think it was absolute. I don't even think I know. It was absolutely amazing to see how much stuff got done in that 25-minute period. Well, I say 25 minutes. A couple of those companies were 2 hours.
Yeah. But the funny part about it, you said it, I was making fun of it, but the use of a notepad or index card
Yeah.
when trying to debrief folks versus today's AI world with a tablet and everything else, it just works better.
Well, you remember it. Even like when I was in school, there was multiple classes, professors that did not allow computers or any sort of technology, so they made you use a notepad.
Really?
Yep. There's studies out there that show you actually memorize things better if you write them down
Is there
instead of typing.
is there a particular notepad you like better than other notepads? I mean, is it a steno pad? Is
No,
it
for
a
me it's
pocket pad?
for me it's mostly pens. I was never allowed to have clicker pens because my teachers would take them away because I would click them.
No shit.
So I had to have non-clicking pens.
Now, I had, as long as you're on this,
Well, we're late.
pocket pads,
We're late.
that's fine. This is important shit.
I know.
So as long as you're on this, because I was talking with somebody the other day, and I said, I'll tell you the best thing for you to move forward. Go out, buy one of those little 3x5 pocket
No pens. Yeah.
and a pen, and just take notes during the day
Yeah.
of what you're
You're
doing.
really good
how
at
you-
that. Yeah.
I use paper plates.
I know, but you take notes all the time. I've never seen somebody do that until I met you.
So, notepad versus there. Again, debrief after difficult moments. And then the lobbyism.
Right. This is good.
Just because someone can run the machine doesn't mean they're ready to run people.
Which probably that could be the quote of the point of this entire webinar series, this entire class coming up this fall. I think that is a huge problem, and we're here to try to help it.
Okay. That takes us to number 6. You're getting concerned about timing.
No, it's my job to remind you of timing.
Okay.
We talked about
I
this.
got till 1.
No, you're doing well.
Okay. Number 6, of course. Don't abandon leaders after training. So that's funny shit. So, and I don't mean to make it about you or about Reed
But it's
or about anybody.
it's a good example.
But not only did we mentor on the front side, send a bunch this training and everything else,
Right.
just added numerous trainings, but once we sent you to an OSHA class or once we sent you to a leadership class or whatnot, it didn't stop there.
No, you make sure to tell me everything that I need to work on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said.
I know, I'm joking.
Go back to slide 3.
No, I completely agree. But it's also in terms of it's not just telling me what I did wrong, right? It's the how'd that go? Do you need help with this? Do you need help with that? Not just saying, all right, you passed all your classes, you can now do everything on your own. I don't need to be here anymore because you did everything.
Right.
Which in turn that does nothing to help out. Really, even after I passed everything, it's a certificate like it doesn't mean anything to me. I'm still everyone out there is probably still nervous and insecure about something, and it helps them greatly to still have that mentor or whatever you want to call them around for help.
So the hard part about that is that I don't want people to be forced into leadership.
Right.
Were you ready? Were you not ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can we push you in there? And then I didn't believe it would just appear by magic that all of a sudden you woke up one day and walked in and said, okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm here.
I'm ready to do an OSHA 30 in 4 days. Yeah.
So I think that was important. And I think it's important with us in the field that we not abandon leaders after training.
Correct.
I think it's important that leaders meet with upper people and ask how to do things or how am I doing? What can I do better? How can I make this work better with my field crew? I also think that we fail and I think we did it with you. We gave you a couple, instead of saying, you're gonna do this class, we turned around and said, you're gonna do fall protection for the next month.
Right.
You're gonna do, whatever it was, right? Confined space. This guy is the best guy when it comes to HazCom, because we killed him
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, because it was because ASCOM is the shortest standard to teach in all of the OSHA class. So when I was really nervous and still learning, I always wanted to do HazCom first. Made me feel comfortable, and then you nail all the little pieces, and then the whole thing's on the bed.
Right. And again, that comes back to one or two practical goals
Yep.
that you can accomplish here quickly. Feel good, give yourself that win, get that confidence. And we gave it to you. Don't leave them alone. Don't leave them alone. Check in regularly. Check on them. Make sure they're doing what you need them to. And then back them up. Back them up. There are times, and again, I was talking safety, but there are times when you have to stop work, or you got to slow it down to grasp what is going on and to make sure it's being done correctly, so you don't have to go back and do it again.
And last week, again, we mentioned there's this feeling or this weird stigma or expectation out of the leader that you're the leader, everything's up to you, you have to figure it all out, deal with it. But in reality, it is completely okay to ask for help as a leader. But for some reason, when you're in that position, it doesn't feel like I'm gonna be a failure if I ask for help.
Do you ask for help?
All of the time I ask for help. You
Do
know,
I ever answer you?
yeah, all the time. You ask me for help. Everybody here at the office asks for help. Doesn't matter what position you're in. And I think you just, as a leader, and everyone, really anyone, should be okay with asking help, because none of this can be done alone. Just because you made me the leader of this job doesn't mean I'm failing my duty if I have to ask for help.
So I could have a direct impact on your failure.
You would have a direct impact on my success because you're helping me out of failure.
Yeah, but I'm not going to help you anymore.
Then I'm going to go work for a different company, because if I don't feel, and we talk, like, again, we're going to go over the same thing over and over again. But if I don't feel supported, and when I'm saying I mean probably just anyone in our industry, if someone doesn't feel supported or like they have the help they need, they're not going to stay around very long. I can guarantee that.
I think you got to make leadership part of performance.
Hmm.
I was talking with somebody this morning about they're just integrating GPS stuff, and the owner manager was getting upset because they've been at this for 3 weeks.
And they don't know how to use the technology.
And it just, he didn't think it was going anyplace. And he was ready this morning. He drove out to the job site, and all of a sudden he pulled into the job site. And this thing was freaking beautiful.
Right.
And he actually said, we're 2 weeks ahead, but it took us 3 weeks
To understand, yeah.
and to trust each other to operate some of those GPS units.
Which is part of trying something new.
Yeah.
You know, the expectations is huge. If you're bringing on a new piece of equipment, you've got to understand that might take an extra amount of time because of the learning curve.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready?
Lobbyism? Let's see it.
Training without follow-up is like buying a new tool and leaving it in the box.
How many years in a row, how many years have you done safety training? 30, 32?
Yeah, probably.
How many
Don't
years?
talk like that.
How many years in a row have you asked the same person what HazCom means and them not know the answer?
I know.
You know what I mean? It's not.
Why'd you go to HazCom?
That's the
One more time.
Yeah.
See how quick he did that?
Right.
He jumped right to HazCom.
No, because it's
That's bullshit.
we laugh about it all the time, because you can't expect to learn something once and then remember it forever. That's the entire reason we have company safety days, refresher training. That's the whole point. So the idea that if you just have someone who's trained as a leader, or someone is getting pushed into a leadership position, that, yeah, you know, they're fine now. They went through something. We helped them out. They should be good.
Focus on discovery. That was number 7 for me.
Okay.
Because I don't think, I do think I think the best leaders don't just provide answers,
Right.
but they ask questions and they allow you to discover your path. And I was talking about this earlier.
Yeah, you were.
Sent you to Rutland. You went up and went down Route 7. I went down 89 and then through Bethel.
We got the same place.
We got the same place, right? But you just took a different pathway. That doesn't make it wrong. That just means I'm only paying 45 miles. If you want to go 70, God bless you.
Right. Yeah. We got there two separate ways, but we're both here talking to each other.
Right.
And you need to be okay with the fact that I did it a little differently than you would have, but it still got done.
Still got done. Still looked okay, and we're fine. So I think we got to look at fix that with what do you see here, or how would you do this, or what do you want to do when it comes to this, and let people, workers, help build that solution. And it only comes from communication. You got to be open to them talking, them discussing it, and us moving in that direction.
Yeah, and as we always say, if I go up to you and I have a question and you don't respond in a great manner, I'm probably never going to ask you a question again. If it's my first time, let's just say it's my first time here, I don't even know you. It's also my first impression. I ask you a question and you say, "Well, you're a dumbass. Why would you think? Why would you do that? You got to do it this way instead."
I think I said that.
Yeah, I'm going to leave and say, "Well, that guy's awful. I'm never going to ask him for help again." Like that was the worst experience of my life. He made me feel stupid, and he didn't even tell me how to fix the problem.
But I think you got to praise good judgment along the way, right? Not just rule following, good judgment along the way, and good leadership skills, good communication skills. If you can praise comms, then frankly, people will be more apt to try comms along the way.
It's all morale. It's all morale based. You've got to find a way to have good morale as a leader. If you don't have morale and you don't have people behind you, it's going to be extremely difficult to be successful.
So another lobbyism.
Right.
If the boss, foreman, super has to see every hazard first, make every decision, then you really don't have a culture up there, do you?
And I as a worker get into the mode where I tend to not look out for anything because Richard probably already knows about that. Blah,
Or
blah, blah.
you won't try to do anything.
No.
You won't move in any direction without first saying, "Should I do this?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I have permission to go do this? Are you kidding me?"
Which, yeah, we're laughing because I think the first month I worked here, I asked permission to do everything because I was so nervous about messing up that I was just in my head. I'm like, oh, I need to ask this, I need to ask that, and then eventually, through either you saying, I don't know, like I don't know if you think that's right, I was able to be way more confident in my decisions and not have that looming over my head of like, oh, if I mess up, I'm gonna get in trouble. It's like, no, if I mess up, I'm gonna have to go ask Dad or Richard or Marcia for help, and they're gonna show me how I messed up and what I need to do next time. But that comes from having good relationships with people at work and having people above you, because I'm not in a leadership position, so to speak. So I get to tell you all, like, and not that you all, everyone's been in a bad leadership position, but when you're in a good one, it makes you feel confident.
The big fix
Yeah.
for this whole thing,
Let's see.
the answer: make leadership visible, make leadership practical, support it out there, and repeat it. Because you have to keep repeating that in order for you to develop that confidence or you develop that pathway that you want to do. Right?
Even if it's seems super repetitive,
difficult
yeah,
as hell. So I think we had 7 things here. I just the AGC bottom line on 7 leadership mistakes that undermine construction sites. Number 1 was don't force people into leadership. Don't leave leadership expectations undefined. Don't assign lead or leaders through guilt.
Or don't lead through guilt.
That's correct.
I'm not going to try to guilt everyone who's with me to try to do something I want them to do.
Don't turn leaders into script readers, right? Give them some frame. Let them have some latitude. Do what they say, what they need. And again, the magic. Number 5, don't expect leadership skills to appear by magic.
Right.
We have to build them. We have to develop. Don't abandon them after training, and then focus on discovery. That's huge. I added a few things here under leadership value and leadership value equation. Say what leadership looks like. Define it. Create that pathway so everybody understands and they know what to expect and what you will expect from them. Say what it looks like. Model it yourself. Now that's kind of a funny thing, because now to create good leaders, you have to be a good leader.
But watch what
And they have to be able to see you do it.
But watch what happens when you've got 4 good leaders at a company, and watch how many good leaders that they train. You know what I mean? It's a domino effect. Once you get someone who's really good and they're good at sharing how they're really good, that shit's going to spread across the entire company.
Coach people instead of correcting them. Coach. Of course, I grew up in the days.
Yeah, you are a coach.
No, I grew up in the days of Mr. Air, who, if you failed at football or you failed at something, he just kicked you in the ass and told you, get up and do it.
I don't think you're that kind. I don't think I'd be here anymore. I've failed so many times.
Coach people instead of correcting them. Give new leaders support. Anything, however you can do it, give them support. Ask questions and allow them to ask questions that make people think. And back people up when they do the right thing. Reward them. Tell them, you did good. Like it. That was friggin' great. And celebrate behaviors you want repeated.
I think the support piece in there is huge. Feeling supported is just so helpful when you're working. Anything from decision making, I think mostly decision making. It's so much easier to make an important decision when you know that there are people supporting you, because it feels like you're not alone. Because making a decision alone is terrifying.
Want to remind you, we're filling in. We're filling in for Reed Wabi today. Anything you like or don't like, please feel free to send him an email. It's reed.wabi@gmail.com. He has organized this whole piece, and he is organizing the 8 weeks of leadership starting sometime around September 16th. I keep saying that date. It's probably the 8th for all I know.
I'm saying I'm not.
I know all you have to do is you go to the week of hunting season.
Yeah.
And go back 8 weeks. That's the start. Because they aren't running into hunt season.
Well, they are.
No, they aren't.
I mean, my hunting season starts September 1st.
Yeah, but we aren't talking women.
No, I'm talking bear.
Oh, because you got a girlfriend.
I do. I'm talking bear.
Okay.
I'm bear hunting.
Okay. But along those lines, again, if you have some thoughts, you have something you want to discuss, please give Reed send him a quick email, and he'll certainly address it. He'll give us more information on the whole program.